For most Android apps, it's simple to let services and intents get handled on the UI thread. But as you know, that's not always ideal because you want that thread to be free for rendering work. My name is Colt McAnlis, and with the help of a handy IntentService class, getting this work off the UI thread is a breeze. But let's recap. Say you want to respond to an intent, but know that the work is going to take a while. You don't want that work running on the UI thread because it should be busy doing rendering work. The solution here is to receive the intent on the main thread and then push a work packet off to some other thread. And you've got a lot of options to do this. For example, async task is useful when the work will result in a UI update, but doesn't really help you if your app's in the background and there's no UI to service. A handler thread might be better if the work is going to take a long time, but while you're not receiving intents, this thread is just sitting around taking up resources. But there's a third option that makes things a little easier for you: IntentServices. At its core, an intent service is kind of a hybrid between a service class and a handler thread. See, it extends the service class, but internally creates a new handler thread which deals with all of the intents as they come in. Basically, it wraps all the moving of your intent responses to another thread on your behalf. And because intent services are also services, you get their benefits as well. Now, for example, you can use alarms to schedule repeated work to happen at regular intervals, like refreshing some social feed, updating cached images, or logging analytics. And of course, there's a few performance caveats that you need to be aware of. Firstly, the handler thread processes work from a work queue. This means that if a task is going to take a long time to complete, it'll block the other queued up intents. Secondly, most of the time when folks talk about intent services, they use some form of broadcast receiver to communicate results back to the main thread and update the UI, which is fine, but there might be a more performant way to do the same thing, because delivering messages via intents involves inter-process communication and ultimately talking to the activity manager. So you could use local broadcast manager to avoid that work, or you could just use the run on UI thread method after the work is completed to push a block of work into the UI thread's handler. Now, besides just being a convenient way to get intent work onto a thread, IntentService also has the benefit of making your app a little less likely to be killed by the system. You have to remember that applications without foreground activities are more likely to be killed than ones that have a foreground activity. But when you've got an intent service running, it puts your app in the middle of these two states. More killable than an app with a foreground activity, but less killable than a background app without all those things. And probably most important is not to confuse intent services with other types of threaded helper classes. While intent services are pretty powerful, they aren't a general purpose threading solution. So make sure you check out the other containers to see which one fits your particular needs. See, this is what performance is all about: understanding the nuances and caveats to make the best decisions for your code base, which is why you should check out the rest of the Android performance patterns videos. And don't forget to join the Google+ community to ask great questions to other great developers. So keep calm, profile your code, and always remember, perf matters.